What are project deliverables? What are milestones? What are project activities? Are they all the same thing? What's the relationship between them? I have the answers, and there's a bonus tip at the very end of this video about making good use of this information, so stay tuned. I'm Stuart Taylor and I make videos about project management. If that's your thing, make sure to subscribe. Deliverables, milestones, activities, they're all conveniently defined for us by PMI. Don't worry, this video is going to have a little bit more than definitions though. Deliverables are, according to PMI, any unique and verifiable product, result, or capability to perform a service that is produced to complete a process, phase, or project. Okay. They describe milestones as a significant point in the project, program, or portfolio. Right? And they define project activity as a distinct scheduled portion of work performed during the course of a project. Okay, so glad they cleared all that up. Simple version, starting with deliverables. Deliverables are things. Anything you create or construct in the project that brings the project close to completing its scope is a deliverable. What it will look like will differ greatly from project to project. If you're updating processes as part of your project, the creation of a process map would be a deliverable. If you're making software, then a piece of code that creates the user interface is an example of a deliverable. If you're building something like a vehicle of some sort, then the electrical elements, when they're completed, that's a deliverable. The test of whether it's a deliverable, though, is mentioned in the definition. Is it verifiable? You have to be able to prove that the deliverable exists. Using the examples I gave, you could show the process map, you could interact with the user interface, and you can switch on the lights on your boat. All are evidence that it exists. In fact, you know what? Let's use this video as the example. Getting this video made and making it available to you is my project. The first deliverable was writing the outline notes of what I was going to say here. And here you go. There they are. You can verify they exist. So can an activity be a deliverable? Well, no, because the activity is the work done to arrive at the deliverable. Having meetings, drawing process maps, sitting at your desk all day coding, or wiring electrical cables from place to place. Actually, whilst we're thinking about activities, asking you to hit the like button so this video can be shared with more people who need it is an activity. I just hope you find it a fun and gratifying one. Setting up the studio space to record this video is an activity made up of multiple tasks, like setting up the camera on the tripod and getting the composition right and making sure the light levels are correct. When those tasks are done and the camera's ready to use, that's a deliverable, because now anyone could walk in here and see that the camera's pointing at me and the settings are right, and they can verify that the deliverable is complete. It's ready for me to hit the record button and start talking. Is it possible for a deliverable to be a milestone? Well, that's a little bit more complicated because the completion of a deliverable could indicate the completion of a milestone. Think of a milestone as a marker that a point in the project has been reached, often something significant. That milestone could be the completion of the review cycle for your process maps, the completion of user testing of your software, or the completion of furnishing the inside of your super yacht. In the project of making this video, I could argue that getting the camera ready is a milestone, but it would really be a minor one. I think that setting up the camera, the microphone, getting the lights ready, having the background ready, having my notes ready is a much better choice as a milestone, because that's the point at which I can say I can hit record and progress to the next phase of the project. So I hope that helps in clearing up the differences between deliverables, milestones, and activities. But now for that bonus tip. It's a variation on something I mentioned previously in a video about project status reporting. I mentioned that when writing project status reports, nobody cares about your activities. They just care about your deliverables and the milestones. The tip then is to take what you've learned here today and to look at your most recent project status report. Try to identify from the progress reported section whether you're talking about activities, deliverables, or milestones. Remove the activities and replace them where you can with deliverables and milestones. And highlight the milestones in some subtle way, make them bold or say milestone next to it. Take another look at the report. There may be less content there now, but does it seem more like a report that your bosses can look at and appreciate? If you'd like some more tips on improving your status reports, look at this video. Otherwise, try this one because for some reason YouTube thinks you're gonna like that one.